Welcome to Opening Resumes. This is the portion of our pastor search session site where we take a resume that I've never seen before. I open it up and I review it for 10 minutes. So a couple of things. First of all, I'm not going to give you the real name of the person on the resume. Today, we are going to be looking at Frank. That is a made-up name. And second of all, I want you to also realize that I'm making hypothesis concerning this particular individual, not assumptions. And so when you look at a resume, make sure that you do not assume things and believe things before you've tested them out. I'm just taking the information that's here and making hypothesis. And then what I would do after this is I would follow those hypotheses all the way through and see which one is right and which one is wrong and go from there. But, currently I'm just trying to decide if this is going to be somebody we pursue or somebody we don't pursue. So here we go. Frank, I need a 10-minute timer.
10 minutes on the clock, starting now.
And here we go. Frank, he is from North Carolina, kind of close. His objective is to serve the Lord in his ministry and equip the saints for ministry. He says, I've made it my personal goal to serve the Lord with all my heart and follow his calling for my life by meeting the needs of hurting people. So that is an amazing objective, very concise. In fact, if you were to ask him what his objective was, I bet he would repeat those exact words or some form of it. Very simple. I would ask about the hurting people. Does he minister to other people that have needs besides just hurting people? But that is a definite, well thought through objective on this resume. He was, see his date. So he's a little bit older. He's probably in his late 40s. He was licensed to preach and ordained. One by First Baptist Church and the other by Second Baptist Church, because remember, we're making up those names as well. So he's been ordained for quite a while. Let's go down to his church positions. He's been a pastor at Third Baptist Church. He's been there for, actually, he's only been there 5 years. He's been there 5 years, so he's looking for something else. He lists pulpit ministry, led congregation, weekly visitation, implemented a youth ministry. So he started a youth ministry, it seems. Implemented a Sunday night children's ministry. So he's a starter, it seems. 20 plus baptisms over the past 2 years. So that's about 10 a year. Look, I'd take one, so that's not bad. Facilitated discipleship. And by the way, depending on the size of Third Baptist Church, that 20, you should do some math there and see if that's a lot or if it's very few. If it's a church of 1,500, probably not that many. But if it's a church of 100 or 200, that's a pretty good number. Led the church to participate in mission trip. So he should have edited this. Led the church in local missions opportunities, many other missions duties that come with the office of a pastor. I think I would let that off of my resume, but he stuck it in. Good so far, all right? He was associate pastor at Fourth Baptist Church. He did that for 3 years, and then it lists what he did there. It seems that he was focused on youth as the associate pastor, which, to be honest, is normal, especially in a smaller church. Other ministry experience, Sexual Awareness Ministry representative for Catawba College, okay? THAS, teaching, helping, assisting, serving, a middle school tutoring ministry program, various homeless shelter programs throughout the state. Okay, so he's just given a list of the places that he has served. He's been on an ordination council. That kind of stuff really doesn't mean much to me. What means a lot to me is his positions at a church. So his senior pastor for 5 years, his associate pastor for 3 years. What did he do when he was actually on staff and being paid to do this job? This other stuff is just, okay, everybody kind of has a list like this. I'm not so sure that should be on a resume. But that's not enough for me to set this aside, nonetheless. He has some secular employment. He was there for 2 years. And That's good. Education, he has his Master's of Divinity from Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Christian Education from Catawba College, so that's good, I guess. And okay, he lists his diploma from high school. Fair enough. I'm laughing because, look, you don't list your diploma from high school. If you're in college, people know you went to high school. It's just, you know by now I smile at stuff. And I just thought that was funny. Okay, he has some interest. Worship, fellowship. Okay. Fishing, hunting, spending time with my family and friends. So the interests are really fishing, hunting, spending time with family and friends. I'm glad that he threw in the spiritual stuff, but I hope that he's somebody that likes worship and fellowship if he is a pastor.
5 minutes left.
We have 5 minutes left, and he has references. One is a pastor, one is an associate pastor. Let's see if that matches any of the churches that he's been to. It does not. Neither one of those are references to the churches that he has actually been on staff at. I can understand his current position, but his second one, what do we call that? Fourth Baptist Church? He probably should have a reference from that church on here. That's what he should do. And he has a director of missions as a reference as well. If the director of missions is in your association, that's probably a good reference. If it's somewhere else, it's not as good, but it's still good. So I would check those out. I think what I would do at this point, I would keep this one to look at again in the future. This is definitely a potential. And I would definitely call his 3 references and probably try to get in touch with that Fourth Baptist Church and see if we can figure out someone that was there while he was there and kind of get a reference from that particular individual there. So that said, that's Frank. And I would definitely put him in the pile of to look at again. So what are we at minute-wise?
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
So look at that, 3 minutes and 30 seconds to spare. So I hope that helped, and grace and peace until next time.